This following content is rated M for mature. Yaoi Loving Viewer discretion is advised, idiots.
Well, hello everybody. How are you today? This is Queen Ravencrow 1 here. So, I'm gonna give you off a little something new today. We're gonna read, and by this, reading is beyond a yaoi reading, a boy-on-boy sexual content, and I mean highly mature yaoi reading. People of 18 and up should definitely be here. Children, don't even think about it, that you're gonna see lots of full detail. Plus, I will commit to giving the link and a shout out to Yonder for Hope. So I'm gonna be leaving that in the description. For this is a free download by that person who made this fan game for all yaoi lovers. It's my department. So if you guys are not into yaoi, boy on boy yaoi segment or anything of the art in lots of things, so hopefully you guys will, I won't get heartbroken for you to click away. So click off this if you're not into yaoi. So okay, my yaoi fans, let's get some reading. Hopefully this Friday is beyond my department of uploading it for Saturday reading for all yaoi lovers. I hope you'll enjoy it. This is Hajime Hinata and Nagito Komaeda, yaoi reading, art, sexual content, togetherness. Let's get started. The pool is obviously much safer than the ocean. I'm not saying that bad things can't happen in pools. They can and do, but the chances are lower, generally speaking. Komaeda skimmed one finger across the surface of the still water, sending ripples towards the hotel as the sun slowly set behind it. Of course, the chances are present are what I have to think about personally. Shut up! You're making the foods go bad. Who are you? I keep forgetting her name. Akane? I think that's what I know from what I've seen people play Danganronpa 2. This is from Danganronpa 2. I think that's Akane. Yeah. Ultimate Gymnast, I heard. Ooh, I love this. I love this art. Okay. Back to reading. On the other side of the pool, a wari. Oh, it's a wari. A wari plucked what must have been the worst grape from the bunch and loved. Oh, crap. Get out of here. Don't need that. Yikes. Ugh. Get out of here. Already updated. Don't need another update. Later. Okay. On the other side of the pool, Awari plucked what must have been the worst grape from the bunch and lobbed it at Komeda's head. How awful. He was just enjoying himself, just as you are, girl. He winced reflexively before it even hit him. Hit him. Bouncing off his fluffy hair and landing in the water with a splash. Poor Nagito. See, bad things can definitely happen at the pool. He reached for it, but the grape had already drifted just out of range, and his fingers closed around empty water. Hinata watched from the safe of his cottage, wondering why he decided to come outside in the first place. Why is everybody not around? Because everybody's going to bed early, or somewhere else, getting food. Oh, where was I? There was a pleasant, warm breeze swaying the palms in the distance, and in another life, it would have been calming. That does sound like a good, detailed feeling if you're at a pool place. Yep. Eating by a pool is supposed to be nice, but you're ruining it and wasting grapes to boot. She shoved another in her mouth, apparently too good to be ammunition. Awari and her handful of fruit passed by Hinata's deck in the way of her own cottage, offering only an exasperated grunt as she left. With the slam of the door, she was gone, leaving him only alone with Komayeda. He dropped his gaze down to the water rushing beneath the boardwalk, counting the beats in his head. And 3, and 2, and... So the nature of fatal possibilities are even more interesting to think about in a place that seems safe, because it means that an actual event would have to be somewhat absurd, assuming there were no other obvious factors or liabilities in place beforehand. Komayeda continued. Okay. Start over. Komayeda continued watching the tiny green grape bob in the water. Why is he so fixated on a piece of grape? Okay, I think he needs his mind to be occupied, or I think he's distracted. Hinata sighed. There was still time before the end of the day. Do you want to hang out? Could you be quiet for once? I'm not gonna say that. That's rude. Do you want to hang out? Look, do you want to hang out? I'll try my best for boy voices. I'm not a boy. Komayeda looked up, apparently shocked. You want to spend time with me again, Hinata-kun? That's twice a day. Surely there's someone else around who has a lot more to talk about. I doubt it. Hinata slipped between the sliding glass doors in the back of his cottage and then reappeared a few moments later on the boardwalk. Why did he go to his cottage? His room was closest to the pool, and he considered that if this had been a real resort, maybe his would be the most expensive. I doubt it. He stopped next to Komayeda, his shoes at the edge of the pool. Gonna go swimming? He knew the answer already and braced himself for an emphatic how you pronounce this? Reiteration. Emphatic. I can't even read this. Reiteration of the dangers of water? Whatever, just go with it. Is that something you'd like to do with me? I don't even know what that means. If so, I don't mind. He stood up and lightly touched Hinata on the shoulder with a smile. I'm honored beyond words that you want to spend any more time with me than absolutely necessary. Hinata's posture straightened up as the hand slid down his arm before returning to Komaeda's side. I'll go get changed. You go do that. He's excited. Also, apparently, beyond words, he silently watched Komaeda disappear behind the cottages and kept staring at the corner waiting for him to change his mind. Why would he change his mind? You just asked him if he wants to go for a swim. Why would he change his mind? Hinata? You gotta choose your words carefully. When that didn't happen, he eventually took off his socks and shoes, rolled up his pants, and sat down on the edge, dunking his feet in the pool water while he waited. That's a cool, not pool, but I'm gonna go with it. After a few minutes, the sun drifted. After a few minutes, the sun drifted fully behind the hotel's silhouette, pulling the remnants of the day along with it. Oh my gosh, I love that color. It's so beautiful. I want my art style like that. It's breathtaking. Night sky anime is absolutely breathtaking. So, don't get distracted with that, I'm trying to read. I'm reading here. Oh, Hinata-kun, you didn't want to put your swimsuit on? Hinata, why would you? Komaeda reappeared and crouched down next to him, slender arms folding to balance on his knees. They both watched the grape drift by, still just out of reach. Again with the grape? This is not about the grape. Come on. I never said I was going to swim. I just asked if you were. Hinata mumbled, kicking his foot out toward the grape. Okay, yeah. The grape's the third wheel. It dunked below the surface before bobbing back up. So you wanted to watch me swim then? That's fine. I'm not particularly sure at swimming or anything, so I don't know how entertaining it'll be, but I'll try not to bore you. I never said I wanted to watch you swim either. Oh, that's so mean! Hajime, that's mean. I guess he's trying to be tough or just trying to make small talk. You trying to make small talk first? Or just want to have fun? Hinata pulled his feet out of the water and stood. Komaeda looked up at him, eyebrows upturned. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. Please tell me what you'd like to do. You were kind enough to accompany me to the library today, so we'll do whatever you like. Hinata chewed on his lip for a moment. No, it's getting late, so we should stay at the hotel. I'll swim. Without waiting for a response, Hinata turned to head back to his room, leaving wet footprints behind. Evidence found at the scene. He thought leading into Hinata's cottage. Wow, his chest. This art style makes him look muscular than I expect in that other art style. He looks toned. Could fix up his hair a little bit. He fished his swim trunks out of the drawer. Why say water? And once changed, took a moment to glance in the bathroom mirror. He nodded at himself and took a deep breath. His talent probably wasn't swimming, but who knows? Maybe he'd get in the water and the memories would simply come flooding back. The wet footprints were dry by the time he returned, and something else was different. Komayeda had turned on the jets in the pool, agitating the stillness and filling the air with a soft hum. He'd also turned on the underwater lights, transforming the whole thing into a glowing rectangle of tropical teal. Oh, that's so delightful. He was already in the water, in the shallow end closest to the cottages, sunken up to his ears. Oh, he looks cute! Oh, he looks darling in the pool. It really matches your eyes, Komayeda. Long tendrils of his hair splayed out, floating on the surface. He lifted his head slightly. Welcome back, Hinata-kun. Yep. It was warm out, as always, but Hinata was preemptively hugging his own arms in preparation for the chill of the water. It's refreshing, he reminded himself, and getting in the slow is always worse, right? Stealing his nerves, he took a short running leap in the middle of the glittering pool, a few feet from where Komayeda huddled near the wall, and cannonballed into it. He plunged nearly to the bottom and trailed by an explosion of tiny bubbles before unfurling and rocketing to the surface with all his might. Feels great, he announced loudly, because yelling made him warmer, shaking his head to sling water off. His antenna popped up determinedly, flinging a few more drops belatedly skyward. He got splashed. He looks cute. Oh, Nagito. I think despite your crazy eyes, you look cute in any situation when it comes to pool. I guarantee it suits you. Komayeda laughed, shielding his face. You're much braver than me. I got in slowly, even though that always feels worse. Hinata wiped more water out of his eyes. Of course it does. I guess. Komayeda tipped his head back against the tiles, closed his eyes, and it was quiet for a moment aside from the steady hum from the jets. How's a pool got jets? I thought it was jacuzzis got jets. I guess some pools are different than others, I guess. That's my opinion. Let me know what your pool looks like, guys. Swimming pools are fun. Oh, my parents are talking a little bit on the other side of the door, sorry. Okay. Hinata took off for the other side of the pool, kind of doing freestyle, but it quickly turned into kind of a breaststroke. He made his way slowly to the deep end, and by the time he touched the far tiles with his fingertips, it felt clear that swimming was not his talent. Somebody needs a lifeguard or some teacher to teach people how to swim. It was still a little nostalgic to be in the water. He dipped under again and pushed off the wall, returning to the shallow end to complete an unimpressive lap. Do you like swimming, Hinata-kun? It's fun to paddle around, but I'm not really good at it. I kinda thought that maybe... never mind. Nah. I thought maybe swimming was my talent. I thought maybe it would be cool if swimming was my talent. In the second one, NagitoxHajime doesn't even remember his own talent. That's what the story is all about. That's why I picked that. Because in the second Danganronpa, memory swiped was a bit tad effective for Hajime Hinata. He doesn't remember anything at all from what he's good at. But there's a twist to his life. But if you don't know about Danganronpa 2, you should definitely go check it out. I guarantee it. It's a great horror anime. Game and anime. Whew. Hang on, I'm gonna need some water. Hinata was a little ashamed to admit it now, after so obviously proving that it was not, but it was a topic Komaeda was usually interested in regardless. Oh, that would be a wonderful talent. I'm sure swimming is a good talent for some people. That's why they do Olympics. Swimming Olympics. Everybody likes to swim to compete. I think Olympics brings people having friends from all over the world. Brings the whole nation come close together. Let's not get sidetracked. Okay? He clapped his hands together, scattering a few glittering drops. You could have the body of a swimmer, Hinata-kun. You coming on to me? Nagito is impressed. He's checking him out. Hinata sputtered at the thought that Komaeda had taken a note of what sort of body he had. Yeah, you checking him out? Dude? You puppy dog. I don't... Not really. But you could if you swam. Komaeda shivered a little and hugged himself. Your build would support it. Nothing like mine. I don't have the stamina for it to begin with. Yeah, I guess not. Don't be modest. Don't be modest, Hinata. Hinata mumbled, eyes unconsciously wandering over the tips of Komaeda's collarbone. And anyway, I'm sure your talent is even more interesting than swimming. Don't say that. That puts a lot of pressure on me. But if he's right though... Hinata glanced at the sky. still far more beautiful than anything he'd encountered in his daily life. Then a spark of energy pulsed through him. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. Alright. What if his talent was something unbelievable, something cosmic, something like ultimate luck? No. Your ultimate lucky student is Kamayeda's shtick. He's your ultimate lucky student. It would make sense that he hadn't remembered a truly unusual talent simply by doing average activities. Maybe you're right, though. Maybe it's something weird like luck. I sincerely hope it's nothing at all like luck. Komieda smiled at him. Maybe it's a craft. What if you're surprisingly very good with your hands? What does that even mean? I could think a million ways that sentence is all about with hands, dude. I have dirty mind for what hands mean. I can think of a million possibilities about hands. He walked 2 fingers across the water surface, going for a small stroll with his hand before he found a good place to start tracing intricate partners in the waves. Oh, patterns in the waves. Partners in the waves. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to read. Why do I even go to school for? Or do I need glasses? No! Oh my god, not yet. I'm still too young for that. Why would that be surprising? Komaeda just laughed and went back to playing. He cupped his hands around the water in front of him, squeezing tiny geysers up through the space between his thumbs. He had to watch the mesmerizing little bursts. He usually did that in pools too. I even do that too. Everyone probably does that in pools. Yup! Yup, they all do. That's how I first played in the pool. Everybody teaches me about how to do a simple trick with your hand to do small geysers. Yep, those were the days. Then there was silence again, aside from the arrhythmic splash of Komaeda's tiny geysers. I don't think my camera can go for past 30 minutes, so I'll try to see if I mesh this into one big episode for you to read. I'm gonna cut some stuff about this yaoi thing. If I see some themes, I'll try to edit some. So for you to enjoy what I'm trying to read about this for you guys, for my audience. Okay. After a few beats, Hinata decided to return the geyser, squeezing the water harder to get high splashes before his competitive streak turned them into attacks. He angled his hands, the little water blobs splashing close to Komaeda, until he got it just right and finally squirted him right in the face. Hinata seems to like splashing Nagito. He immediately stopped to shield himself. Hinata-kun, I understand the impulse to fire on me, but the chlorine hurts my eyes. Sorry. Oh, man. Oh, he's so cute. Sorry. Hinata laughed like a scolded child and backed off, sinking into the water to blow bubbles instead. When he ran out of breath and the bubbles sputtered to a stop, he lifted his head. So I guess if we're not really swimming, there's not much to do in a pool. The ever-shifting glow cast strange reflections over Komayeda from time to time, making him appear to be moving when he was not. It's just relaxing to feel weightless for a while. He closed his eyes again and spread his arms. Hinata could see his familiar gesture through the water, but the choppy surface made his arms look wobbly. He's got noodle arms. I guess our bodies get to momentarily forget the strain of being alive, even while surrounded by something that could kill us so quickly. That's the opposite of relaxing. Hinata pressed his back to the wall and catty-cornered to him, trying to enjoy the weightlessness without thinking about death. Of course, the more he tried not to think about death, the more he thought about death. Okay, no death here. Come on, guys. And then the grape floated by. Hinata snatched it out of the water. Aha! It was half brown and already dented in one side. That must be a nasty grape. He held it up triumphantly and squeezed a little. Oh! Komayeda gave a small wet applause. Congratulations, Hinata-kun. Thanks. He held it up for a few more minutes, turning it in the light like a rare gem. I dare you to eat it. Komaeda's applause stopped. Make him eat a disgusting grape out fresh from the pool. What? Why would I do that? He looked sincerely worried. There was really no good answer. Because I dare you. It's been soaking in chemicals, and it looks like it's already rotten. If you're saying you think a rotten person like me should eat rotten fruit, then just say that. No, I mean... I squeezed the grape too hard and a little mush seeped out the top. I was kidding. It's just something kids do with their friends. Oh. Komaeda's worry faded and he laughed. I guess I wouldn't know much about a game like that. Hinata sank down a bit. The water lapped at his cheek. Well, we're all supposed to be friends here and stuff, so we can play dumb games like that with each other. Don't tell the others that they're supposed to be friends with me. They'd probably be upset. Or maybe they'd be happy that they can make me eat rotten fruit whenever they want. Hinata stood up again and abruptly and chucked the mushy grape toward the cottages. It landed in the stream below with the one final splash. I think you have to lose a game before someone can make you do a dare as a penalty, so if any luck was involved, it would probably be a bad idea to play that with you. It's probably a bad idea to do anything with me. He laughed. Hinata laughed uncertainly along with him, unsure what that meant exactly, but the mood somehow felt a little lighter. Komaeda moved in, pushing himself away from the wall to swing closer. The light reflected off his cheekbones, and his skin looked completely white in the greenish glow. It really suits his skin tone and his hair. Let's say I somehow lost a game of chance, and you could make me do anything as a penalty. What would you ask me to do, Hinata-kun? Whoa, we're getting close to this! My fangirling is gonna go out of control with this! Beware, I'm very, very, very fangirlish of these things. This had to be a trick question. Hinata pushed away from the wall too, so he could escape if necessary. Run away! Is someone watching me from there? Is there anybody around? He looked around at the windows of the other cottages, expecting to see his disgusted classmates watching them, but the blinds were all drawn. How's everything all drawn? There's no light or anything. Are they even home? Anybody? You already seem like you do whatever I tell you for some reason, so it's kind of hard to say. Komaeda swam a little closer. That may be true. So you must be constantly thinking of things you could tell me to do, just to see if I would do it or not. Just to see how willingly I am to please an ultimate. That wasn't entirely false. Hinata... crap, it's a narrating. Hinata had thoughts about lots of stuff. Komaeda's willingness to do things could have been among them. I don't think I can think straight if I'm fangirling over this yaoi thing. After all, he'd already done quite a few things, though Hinata could remember now if any of it had been specifically at his request or if it had just sort of happened. Most of the things they did together just sort of happened. Just what you mean. Things they do together. Okay, yes. Hinata lowered his voice even though he knew that sounding suspicious immediately made it suspicious. Would you seriously do anything I told you to do? Komaeda laughed quietly and flicked some water at him, pelting Hinata gently in the chest. Of course not. But I would do anything that helped you reach a greater hope. Oh? It sounded obvious when he said it. Obviously, and yet Hinata realized he didn't actually have a good grasp on Komaeda's definition of anything or hope. I think you mean anything. Anything brings lots of trouble. It's always the simple word that brings trouble. Let's start with the letter A. All A's start with trouble. He was about to ask, but Komaeda stood up suddenly. Eyes wide, wet hair clinging to his neck. He spreaded his arms again, dragging water up that cascade through his fingers. Don't you want Don't you want to know what I would ask you to do? He was reminded once again that Kameyeda was just a little bit taller. Not really. Hinata took a step back. Yeah, even with those crazy eyes, I know. Kameyeda Nagito is the Mad Hatter of the series. Nobody gets him. He acts a little bit crazy, and he's very resentful of his, how should I say, peculiar, niceness is kind of suspicious. But he doesn't have, like, a, beef with anybody. He's just kind of reserved for some reason, but tries to act nice. You're just gonna say something weird like you want me to kill you, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Sorry again. Let me get some water. Okay. An exemplary answer. Exactly what I'd expect from you, Hinata-kun. I guess I'm just too predictable. He had to catch his breath between thoughts, voice wavering with excitement. But I couldn't make you do that. It has to be something you choose on your own. Otherwise, it wouldn't be your hope that you're fighting for. It would be mine. Right. Hinata didn't notice it before, but the glittering water made Kameda's eyes seem like they were glowing. Yeah, the light does seem to match his eyes for his, affectionate of his appearance. He wondered if his own eyes looked like that right now, too. The truth is, if we were friendly enough to play a game together, and you would trust me enough to offer, that anything I could ever ask of you would have already been fulfilled. That's not really a dare. He was almost disappointed. See, I told you, I didn't know much about this game. Can't see it a little bit. So let's play. Well, don't worry about it. How about let's play. So let's play something then. You actually want me to play with me? His voice edged on delirious for a split second before easing back into delight. Play what? I'll think of something. Okay then, I'll leave it up to you. Kameyeda relaxed back into the water with a pleasant sigh, and then turned to paddle towards the deep end. When he reached the wall, Hinata watched him paddle back slowly. Do you want to race? Kameyeda laughed and took a deep breath. I'm already a little tired from that, so let's just say you won. Okay, I won. There was another long silence. Let's play rock, paper, scissors. Hinata blurted out before he really stopped to think about it. Oh, are you sure, Hinata-kun? Being questioned made it seem like it was a bad idea. But it was too late to back out now. Yeah, why not? I can't think of anything else. Well, alright. Best 2 out of 3 ready. Best 1 out of 6. That doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? If you win at all, you win. Okay, whatever. Let's just go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper. Paper would melt in the pool. Hinata thought as he threw out paper. Komaeda made an annoying cute sound as he sniffed through Hinata's fingers with his own. Maybe next time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock. Oh my god! He made paper against my rock. Hinata tried rock. Komaeda cupped both his hands around Hinata's fist. Double paper, he said quietly. Hinata was pretty sure double paper isn't a legal move. 2 in a row doesn't mean anything. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Paper. Oh my god! Hinata attempted paper. Komaeda shredded his document. Scissor. Are you secretly a serial killer or something, Hinata-kun? Please don't point those at me. Komaeda smashed his scissors to bits, probably in self-defense. Scissors. I guess only one pair of scissors isn't something to worry about. And now it's 0 scissor smash. That's so funny. Oh, come on. One more. I love rock, paper, scissors. Come on, more. Keep it going, boys. Really? My love for games doesn't last. Like everything else in my life, nothing lasts. You have one more turn, but it's probably pointless to continue. Here, I'll give you a hint. A hint? A hint at rock, paper, scissors? Well, a big hint. I'm going to throw scissors next. That's not a hint. Then let's play. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! I'm gonna do scissors. Of course you assumed I was lying. Oh yes, it seems suspicious to tell you the answer, but please try to believe in me for once. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock. After being literally told the answer, it seemed dumb to pick anything else. Hinata kept his first firm and steady and harshly whispered, Rock, as he prepared to actually beat Komaeda, and a bug, some kind of horrible bug, landed on Hinata's rock, well, on his thumb. It was black and fierce, and he could swear it looked bloodthirsty. What kind of bug was it? Is it a spider? He made a high-pitched squeak as his other hand erupted out of the water to slap it. Komaeda jumped, startled by the sudden motion, and when the drop settled, Hinata looked down at his hands. He accidentally threw out paper. Komaeda's scissor gestured and melted away, and he grabbed Hinata's fist. This guy's so weird. Hinata-kun, are you really... I don't know what I said for you guys, but I meant to say hurt. He checked his palm for a gruesome sight, but the bug had apparently escaped, though not before leaving a tiny red bite on him. I think I'm fine. Sorry, Hinata-kun. Let's not play anymore. Game's okay. Yeah, I get it. Even though he won all 6 rounds, Komaeda still looked kind of defeated. Are you gonna make me do a penalty? Terror seized him, and his brain formed a collage of horrors, pasted together with regret. Komaeda's shoulders slumped. I think you've been punished enough. It was just a bug. Because it was just rock, paper, scissors. Sorry, Hinata-kun. It was selfish of me to agree to this. Huh? It was my idea, though. Well, don't worry about it too much, Hinata offered. Komaeda nodded, and then the sounds of the night and the pool and the wind and the trees crept back in on both of them and lingered. When they first met, Hinata had considered Komaeda easy to talk to. He was still as talkative as ever, so Hinata briefly wondered if lulls in conversation were somehow his fault. It's definitely not my fault. While Komaeda lounged, Hinata turned and started inspecting the pool itself. He found the source of the churning waters and entertained himself by shoving his fingers into one of the jets on the wall. I used to do that when I was a kid. Wonder what effect it would do if I make the jet go upward. He found the source of the churning waters and entertained himself by shoving his fingers into one of the jets on the wall. It was pushing water out of it so hard that it rippled against his skin, and it was quite satisfying to plug it up completely. He heard the motor strain as the other jets worked hard to compensate, pulsing powerfully and breaking the surface every time he did it. This is nice, isn't it? Hinata didn't look up. What's nice? We don't need pointless small talk to spend time with each other. You could tell from the tone of his voice that Komaeda smiled when he said it, but he was always smiling, wasn't he? Is this the way of getting me to start a conversation? Sorry, I don't really know what else to talk about with you. Hinata didn't need to say it quite so bluntly, but that's how it came out. He kept playing with the jet. There was a small splash, maybe the sound of his hands dropping into the water. I really meant it. Hinata-kun. I actually like when it's quiet, it's comfortable. Maybe not for you, though. He let out a half-hearted little laugh. Now, he really didn't know what to say. Hinata crammed his finger all the way in the jet, and the others groaned as they strained to pop out of the water. He had the overwhelming sensation that someone should be scolding him for his behavior, and this thought was distracting enough that he didn't notice Komaeda had swum up behind him until he heard him speaking softly over his shoulder. Hinata still expected it to be a scolding. Boo! I'm sorry that there's not much to do with me when there's I'm sorry that's... God, I can't read what I'm trying to do. I'm sorry that there's not much to do with me when we're in a public place. He was alarmingly close suddenly. Hinata felt one finger running slowly down the length of his spine, underwater, stopping just above the waistband of his suit. I'm sure it's shameful to even be seen talking with me. No, don't go! I need you! The tip of his finger dipped in behind the elastic of rub I'm sorry. Freaking out. The tip of his finger dipped behind the elastic to rub at Hinata's hip bone, and some extremely untrustworthy part of him wanted to forget where they were and slam Komaeda against the tile and return it tenfold. I may have to censor some parts for, you know what. Okay? This is highly mature, I guarantee it. So, I'll try my best if I can try to show you some guys. The censor part is okay or not. So, that'll be my judge. Just to try to censor it really, really, really good. After all, he couldn't say anything if Hinata's tongue was in his mouth. That had always been a part of the appeal. But the logical part of him, the tiny part of him that was exceptionally good at skateboarding, held his urges at bay. Hinata whipped around to face him, his back to the jet, hoping it would wash away the lingering feeling of touch. It's not that I'm ashamed to talk to you. His voice was awfully quiet for someone who wasn't ashamed. But it's... Unable to bring himself to say any more, his mouth shut, eyes silently pleading with Komaeda to back up just a little bit. His cottage was so close, and it was almost bedtime anyway. They should probably get out so they could. But Komaeda backed off, and air returned to Hinata's lungs. We can get out of the pool if you want, Hinata-kun. I was about to suggest it myself. He exhaled in relief, comfortable in rare moment that their thoughts and plans actually lined up. He moved to stand up again, but a warm stirring in the pit of his stomach stopped him, and he almost groaned audibly. It was already too late. He shivered as the chill current flowed through the mesh of his swimsuit, feeling colder than before over his heated skin. The jet stream continued to pummel into his back, but it still did nothing dull the tingly sensation left where Komaeda's fingers had been. Whoa. Okay, I don't know if we're seeing some action, but not right at this moment. But come on, let's get it on. He'd forgotten to bring a towel, of course, and the now taut fabric of his swimsuit wasn't doing him any favors. He swallowed and sank back down slowly. You can go first. What are you alright? I should just make a run for it. Yeah, run! Get out of there, pool! No, I'm going away. I'm not going to work. No way, I'm getting out of the water with this swimsuit situation. No way. I'm fine. You could go on ahead of me. He sputtered, but he could tell Komaeda knew. He always knew. You could see it in his eyes when they widened just a little, and Hinata was already shaking his head when Komaeda opened his mouth again. If you need any help, you know you can always ask me. Hinata thought about what help from... I think I'm reading that wrong. Let me start over. Hinata thought about what help from Komayeda usually entailed when they were alone together, and choked back a scandalized gasp. His gaze settled on Komayeda's smile, lips parted slightly. Hinata already knew what he looked like on his knees. But this, what was he thinking not to mention? You can't hold your breath for that long. What are you talking about? Where is this leading? Where is this leading? Hinata's voice cracked, much to his horror. Komayeda's brow furrowed for a moment in confusion, then furrowed further in realization. Hinata-kun, first of all, you seem a little on edge. So even with my limited lung capacity, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. Second of all, that isn't what I meant anyway. Through the current, Hinata saw the wobbly shapes that made up the boy's form shift, and then felt toes curling over the waistband of his swimsuit, tugging it away from his skin just enough to let fresh, cool water drip over his stomach. Hinata propelled himself backward with one hard stroke of his arms, and Komayeda, having lost his support, sank back with a startled laugh. No way, Hinata hissed. Anyone looking could tell that you're doing stuff underwater. The surface is choppy enough for plausible deniability, I think, Hinata-kun. Komayeda shrugged and looked around. At least I don't believe that anything witnesses that... I think I'm reading it wrong. Let me start over. The surface is choppy enough for plausible deniability, I think, Hinata-kun. Komayeda shrugged and looked around. At least I don't believe that anything witnessed through the lens of churning water would hold up as proof in a class trial. What class trial? A class trial to talk about sex? Or something dirty thoughts? Yeah, that's gonna bring up a good situation. Hinata was mumbling too close to the small waves. Some of his words became bubbles instead. If someone thinks they saw us blub something, okay, how am I gonna do this voice with the bubbles when I'm talking underwater? If something happens, they saw us blump and then it's already as good as true. You don't present evidence against the blump. Exactly. You don't think you're worrying too much over something that isn't even a matter of life or death. Komayeda ran one finger through thoughtfully over the bottom lip, drawing attention to his mouth again. His filthy mouth. Hinata felt like he was much better at arguing when it really was a matter of life or death. He sank back down a little further, wishing the tightness in his swimsuit would just go away already. Kameyeda smiled cheerfully and pressed his back against the wall. I won't even touch you. Matching Hinata, he also slid further down until only his head and the tops of his shoulders were visible. The chill of the pool was no match for the heat on Hinata's face. He felt like he should have learned better than to play along by now. But perhaps it was because he learned that he lifted his chin to speak. Some help you all then. Kameyeda didn't miss a beat. His eyes widened slightly. Oh, whoa. Didn't expect that. Crazy eyes, the Mad Hatter are back again. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to fuck me, Hinata-kun? Shit. Excuse me? Oh my goodness. The question came out soft and low, echoing across the surface of the pool. Refracted perfectly by the waves to reach Hinata's ears and no further. It shattered the vague, subconscious concentration that was keeping Hinata's head above water. And before he knew it, he was sputtering chlorine and wiping water out of his eyes. It's okay if you have... What? I don't know. Hinata swallowed, mouth dry like he was stranded in the middle of the ocean. What about you? Huh? Have I thought about fucking myself? Excuse me? What did you just say? Come on. Excuse me. Who does that? You must have misread me a little too much. I mean, well, I suppose so. I'm sure everyone has thought about something like that. You mean masturbate? Trash like me deserves trash like me, right? What are you talking about? Try looking in the mirror, you, narcissist. Yeah, go kiss a mirror. Kameyeda shivered. I wonder what I would do. The distorted image of his arm moved underwater, a pale greenish shape rapidly dissipating and reforming with each wave that passed, and Hinata could swear that he couldn't see Kameyeda's hand anymore. Would I treat myself roughly, unable to hold in my scorn and have to see my own shameful, pitiful form before me? Or would I lose my nerve and do it gently? That's up to you. His voice cracked a little and Hinata felt like he'd been slapped in the face. Using my fingers to make sure I was ready. I'm not sure I deserve such kind treatment. What do you think, Hinata-kun? Hey? Oh! Excuse me? What are you doing now? Excuse me, where's your hand? Is that sir? I'm censoring this right now. I don't know if I could take Yaoi seriously. Let me get water. I think this is... unbelievable. Hinata had absently started stroking over his woo bow wow through the fabric of his suit before sharply realizing that meant his hand was technically visible. Plausible deniability. Yes. Yes. Why is Yaoi doing this to me? He wasn't sure if it was better or worse, but he slowly hesitantly dipped his hand into the suit and obscuring it. Oh, that's what you call it. Obscuring it from what? He wasn't sure. One by one, he let his fingers settle against bare skin. I think he'd forgotten the question. I think you would do something weird? Komayeda let out a soft laugh, and it skipped out over the water like a stone. What does that mean, coming from you, I wonder? He took a strange sounding breath, and Hinata couldn't quite tell if his shoulder was moving while he spoke. Hinata let several inappropriate thoughts go unsaid and suddenly remembered something he'd heard once. You like licking shoes or having them licked? What kind of question did that just popped out from your mouth, from your head? What's in your brain, sir? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Hinata wondered how long he could hold his breath if he just dipped for a while. Komayeda laughed again and gently picked up the thread Hinata had dropped, weaving it easily back into his filthy tapestry. Something like that, I'm sure. But my needs aren't really important, are they? There was a tiny splash as his shoulder jerked. If you used my body to feel good, I'd be completely satisfied, even if you forgot I even existed, only moments afterward. Hinata-kun, how do you think I would compare to fuck my mouth? What? How do you do that? To bend over to, roly-poly. I can't believe I just said that. Hinata took a deep breath as though he'd actually gone underwater. Good, he answered automatically, like the simple, lonely response had been waiting for his chance to emerge. He started stroking himself in earnest at some point during this exchange carefully to only move his wrist while he did it. His shoulders stayed still. He wondered what they looked like from the cottages. Maybe only their hair was visible above the wall. Yeah, they see a tiny antenna of his hair. Yeah, totally not suspicious at all that they're still in the pool.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Komaeda sighed, groaned in relief, and shut his eyes, sounding like he was in pain.
If I couldn't make you feel good, I don't know what I would do.
His other hand came out of the water to tangle in his own hair.
I'd squeeze around you, hoping that feeling is what you liked. Maybe it would hurt, getting tighter, but you'd keep moving because it's warm.
What? I'm sorry, forgive me. You coming on to me? Just say you love me, and we'll get it on, just that easy. Tiny rivulets dripped over his cheek. Hinata knew it was pool water, but it painted such a clear picture of Komaeda exerting himself, dripping sweat, overstimulated.
I tried to move too, desperately to make sure you come, even though I'm trembling from the feeling of Hinata-kun being inside me, and it's better than anything I could imagine or describe.
Komaeda suddenly covered his mouth as though trying to stifle a sound, but Hinata heard it anyway. The small hitch in his throat, the way he whimpered, as though Hinata was actually fucking him. Hinata's whole body jerked. The sound of splashing water covering most of whatever shameful sound he'd just made. His fingers felt the evidence that he'd finished, and he quickly pulled his hand out of his trunks and swatted through the water, hoping to dissipate it if it was there, if he could see it. He didn't want to know. Though he did kind of want to know if Komaeda was in a similar situation. Komaeda didn't know much finish as he simply recovered. Instantly, the heavy, dirty atmosphere lifted around him, and his posture and expression returned unscathed from the lewd splattering of adjectives he'd been commanding only moments earlier. Are you done? Yep. That's a face right there. He's done. I guarantee it.
He's done. Isn't it a little unsanitary to do something like that in the public pool?
Really? Public places are dirty. To do whatever anybody... It's not good to do that stuff in public.
Splash.
Of course. Hinata splashed him before he even finished squeaking a completely automatic response.
kind of feels like I should... Well, I don't know who's reading this or saying... It kind of feels like I should get out now that you've claimed this pool as your own. So it is him. Komayeda laughed while shielding himself from the next round of splashes. He's so cute when he gets splashed. All the time. Don't worry too much, Hinata-kun. That's what all the chlorine is for. You're horrible. Hinata's voice had become a whine, but he could only muster so much energy in his post-dirty talk haze, and his vengeful splashes quickly lost power. He slumped over, feeling defeated. I know. I've been telling you that all along. I guess I can get out of the pool now. He's not getting away with us. No sirree. Not for the first time, and not for the last. Komayeda's smile read like a challenge, daring him to keep up. Hinata moved quickly, pushing off the bottom of the pool to propel himself forward before Komayeda had time to react. Whoa! Ow! Wow! Hell yeah! Oh, chicka wow wow! Things are getting a little hot around here now. He was pressed up against the other boy in the instant, water sloshing in the narrow dips of space between them, the surround of rippling current echoing back at him. Hinata ducked as far below the wall as he could without going under, wrapping one arm around Komayeda's shoulders and pushing him up against the tile. The logical part of his brain had probably skated right off the edge of a wicked half-pipe, because he wasn't here to offer any better ideas. From the cottages, he hoped the pool now looked empty, and God help them if there was anyone left at the hotel. Hinata-kun! Shut up, you're being romanticized by a man. You got no say in the matter. Boy on boy action. Hinata-kun, Komayeda wheezed, still seeming shocked from this sudden contact. Aren't you worried? Of course I'm worried. He cut off the obvious question by nipping at Komayeda's jaw, trailing quick, light little bites down his throat until he found a place to stop, filling his mouth over the skin and sucking gently. He tasted like chlorine, of course, but Hinata could also taste the sounds he was making directly into his ear, soft, appreciative whimpering.
So you better keep quiet. He clamped his wet hand over Komayeda's mouth as he pulled away to look him in the eye, already missing the sounds. Komayeda's hand hooked around the back of Hinata's neck, and Hinata was no longer sure who was holding who in place. Yeah, he's holding on for dear life. And yaoi for life. That's what these two are making. Oh. Okay. Touchy feeling. He slid his other hand sliding down to Komayeda's stomach
applying pressure as it crept lower, pressing into the sensitive skin below his navel, before he snagged the drawstring of his swimsuit. Kamayeda groaned against his palm, hips shifting impatiently under his hand. Must be, I guess, Hajime is good with his hands. It was so... Wow. That's a loud car screech. I don't know if you guys heard that. It was so easy to pretend like all this came naturally. Wow. We're a minute into this, and now there's commotion outside the window. Alright, where were we? It was so easy to pretend like all this came naturally, like he'd done it countless times, before like he knew exactly what he was doing. Kamayeda made it easy. So long as Hinata didn't think too hard about what that actually meant. If all of this, everything Kamayeda said or did with him, was all part of some manipulative scheme, well, you could think of worse ways to be manipulated. One of those, huh? Okay. He slid his fingers through Kamayeda's drawstring and pulled one side of the bow slowly until the knot fell apart. He felt Kamayeda make a startled sound against his palm as he exposed just enough of him bare to the water. His hand moved between Kamayeda's legs, and Hinata was relieved to feel how hard he was. Proof that they'd at least been enduring this day together. Two choices. I think I want to... I'm not quite sure what I need to do to go back. I didn't even save... Don't delete me! There's no going back! No going back. If Hinata was going to beat Kamayeda at his own game, they had to at least be playing the same game. He thought about the way his words had painted not just a picture, but a feeling. Combining his own imagination with physical sensation to create something real. He thought about the way his words had painted not just a picture, but a feeling. I'm reading the same thing again. Well, okay, real. His hand tensed and he started slowly stroking, then leaned in to whisper softly in Kamayeda's ear. My fingers are all wrinkly from being in the water for a long time, so I think that makes it feel better. You call that talking dirty? Hajime? Really? You must be a virgin for this. For a high school student getting down with a male psychopath. He couldn't see his face, but Kamayeda tried to make another sound from behind his hand. It probably feels so good, he can't help himself. I'm rubbing my thumb on the tip
Okay. Hinata said doing that. And I'm jerking you off instead of you having to do it yourself. And that's pretty great. So you're gonna... Kamehameha twisted his head away. No! I already did that. I'll do it again later. Okay, we're doing dirty talk here. Kamehameha twisted his head away out from behind Hinata's hand, gasping. Hinata-kun, I know what you're doing. I can feel it. You don't need to tell me. Please stop telling me. Well, okay. Just because we should be quiet, so no one finds out, okay? Right. Kamehameha was right. Hinata shut his mouth and went to quietly focus on what he was doing. It's getting down. He ran his hands slowly between Kamehameha's thighs, testing how much he could move his arm around, making any noise splashes above the surface. Kamehameha wrapped his arms around his shoulders and his balance shifted. Suddenly, Hinata was supporting the other boy's weight completely. Hinata must be strong. An easy task in the water, but one that nonetheless made him feel more in control. He felt Kamehameha's legs drift upward to loosely wrap around him, lightly anchoring his hips between his knees. Hinata peeled his fingers away from Kamehameha's mouth so he could hold him up more securely against the wall, begging him to keep quiet on his own. Yeah, you better be quiet, Nagito, 'cause things are happening. Kamehameha just smiled at him and Hinata started moving his hand. Kamehameha closed his eyes and let his head fall back dangerously close to going under. Oh no! I can see the headlines of a death in the pool. Nagito. Cause of death? Drowned to death. While being fucked to death. Yep. Got fucked hard in the pool. Hinata paused to readjust their position, but he could feel Kamehameha going limp as if it was no longer worth it to stay above water. Hey, you gotta help me out of here a little, Hinata whispered against his hair. You're too relaxed. Whenever Kamehameha crept to Hinata's room at night, he left himself vulnerable. They were both vulnerable. But nothing like this. With his head only barely above the surface, Kamehameha's eyes flicked open, locking onto Hinata's gaze. You can hold me under, he mouthed as much as spoke. Gently squeezed the back of Hinata's neck with the one hand that still held onto him. Stop that. Hinata pulled him up so he was higher out of the water. Don't do that right now. Not now, of course. It would be a bad plan since you've been seen here with me today. But we could arrange for Kamehameha was cut off of it. Hinata leaned in to kiss him.
Oh, oh my god. Oh my goodness. What is that hand doing? Oh. Okay. I'm editing so much. Okay. Yep. He leaned harder against the wall, pressing Komaeda's shoulders against it for support and settled to touch him again. It was cool underwater, but Hinata could still feel heat in the hands. Heat in the hands. Heat in his hand. Okay. And the quickening pulse of someone who was still breathing. Despite his mouth being sealed, small sounds escaped as Hinata's thumb pressed against the head of his wow firmly, rhythmically dragging up and down sensitive skin. Hinata let the muscle memory in his hand take over, shoulders still barely moving, while his wrist did all the work below the surface. He could feel Komaeda's thighs squeezing at his sides, water sloshing against them, both as he trembled, and finally Komaeda jerked his head away from the restraint to put his mouth underwater instead, trying out, nearly muted into the pool as Hinata felt him come. He came already? That was intense, I bet. Komaeda went limp again, suddenly burdened by the weight of the water surrounding him, squeezing against him while he gasped as quietly as he could. Hinata caught him when he slumped over, once again getting a rush from the sense of power that buoyancy afforded him. He pulled Komaeda's suit back up over his narrow hips while his mind churned out a new story for their situation. He became fatigued while we were swimming, so I'm helping him out. Because an automatic process whenever they were alone together, weaving small lies, or at the very least, excuses for being near him. A minute ago, he didn't have a story or an excuse for what they'd be doing, and even though the moment had passed, his stomach dropped at the thought. It probably would have looked like I was trying to drown him. The fleeting idea sat heavily in his stomach. At least some of his classmates will be understanding if that had been his alibi. Either his guilt from an imaginary situation or the treading of water made his trek to the edge of the pool feel more difficult than it should have been. They arrived at the inset ladder, and he pushed Komaeda towards it. Come on, let's get out of this pool, it's late. Komaeda dragged himself up the steps and Hinata followed, tensing up again as they started heading for the cottages. Is he just going to follow me into my room? It was earlier than when he would normally come by. Too early to seem safe sneaking around, not that it had mattered to him, just now what was safe. He was practically tiptoeing as they neared his door, but Komaeda, who was now trailing an appropriate distance behind him, kept walking until he passed. Good night, Hinata-kun. Good night. He stood watching the pale dripping wisp that seemed to drift rather than walk to his cottage, and Hinata considered that perhaps he needed the weight of his usual attire to keep him from floating away. He vanished from sight when he slipped into his room, leaving behind a trail of pool, water, and Hinata turned to his door and did the same. Oh, there he is, going to sleep. Yes, exciting moment. And now they had to rest up, take a break. The usual pit of anxiety came to him immediately when his head hit the pillow. Is he going to come by tonight? Even though we were just together. If he doesn't, what is he doing? Should I be worried? He misses him. He misses him so much. Oh. Come by, Nagito. What if he doesn't want to come by? That thought was new, but he didn't have time to dwell on how absurd it was when he heard the soft knock at his door. His heart jumped, like it always did. Who could blame him for being jumpy in a situation like this? And his feet... God, I can't read. And his feet hit the floor before he even realized what he was doing. He was at the door in an instant, but he paused with his hand hovering over the knob. And 3 and 2 and he opened it slowly, relaxing his expression. Sorry as always to bother you. You again, Hinata-kun. Sorry as always to bother you again, Hinata-kun. If you're sick of me from today, which I'm sure you must be, I can't leave you alone tonight. Hinata stepped aside, opening his door just enough for a wisp of a person to sneak through. Better here than off doing something weird by yourself. Komayeda offered a tired smile as he stepped inside. Hinata didn't notice at first, but he'd brought something. His own pillow, tucked under his arm, and thought it would definitely seem worth commenting on the implications. Neither of them mentioned it. Komayeda folded his jacket and placed it carefully on the couch, like always. He crawled into Hinata's bed and loudly fluffed the pillow, before collapsing messily on top of it. Hinata followed, pulling the blankets up over them both. Their hairs are like super fluffy pillows themselves. Like Pomeranians. Oh, they're so cute. They're cute. Good night. Hinata mumbled into the sheets he'd pulled up all the way to his mouth. Good night, Hinata-kun. His voice was small, directed at the wall. Thank you for letting me in again today. Okay. Hinata rolled over. He could feel Komaeda's head tickling his nose. He stuffed both his hands under his pillow. It was just more comfortable to sleep on this side. Komaeda shifted slightly. Komaeda shifted slightly. Getting to spend so much time with you today made me very happy. Go to sleep. Hinata's hand moved just close enough that his fingers could feel the dip in the mattress where Komaeda lay beside him. Good night. Hinata closed his eyes, and after a few long minutes, sleep started to tug at the corner of his thoughts, distorting them at the edges. I wonder why he let me sleep next to him like this. That wasn't right. He's lucky I let him sleep next to me like this. That was it. He likes being here. Of course. He's always here. Yeah. There's definitely something wrong with Komaeda. Oh, that's thank you for playing from Yonder for Hope. You made this fan game for my heart. I ship it. I ship it. And that's the end. I'll be editing some music here and or so just to fit for this adorable couple, and some things about rated M for mature, and some crediting and all that stuff, editing, some naughty stuff. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy this read. And if your kids are watching this, parents, you must be ashamed of yourself, because you must be crazier than I am. Alright. Like I said, kids above 18 should have watched this. Okay, and yaoi lovers, I love you too. Puss and bees, show some support. I love you guys. Bye. Good night. Happy yaoi. I ship it.